Hello, and welcome to the welcoming video, if you will, for the Web Programming 1 course in the CPDM program. The objectives for this video is really just to help you get started. And in doing so, we will learn a little bit about the course. We'll talk about the outcomes of the course, how to be successful in the course, what you'll need to complete the course, how to seek help as you move forward with the course, and finally, how to get started. Okay? So let's kind of dive into this, and hopefully we'll answer a bunch of questions for you as we get through this, so that'll help you get started with the course and move forward. All right. So what this course is all about, Web Programming 1, is part of a two-course sequence that is basically an advanced course that is part of either your technical concentration or the elective track in one of the CPDM majors. So this course is all part of the Computer Programming Database Management program, and is part of all three different majors, SET, CINS, and CSD. Again, based upon which major you take, it's either an elective or it's something required of you to take. So either way, it's part of a two-course sequence. The idea is you probably should take both courses based upon if it's part of your technical concentration or if it's an elective. It may be just one thing you take, either this course or both. Hopefully that makes sense, okay? If it's part of your technical concentrations, you either have the choice of this course, web programming, C, or Java, all right? And so again, so this is all about web programming and web-based applications. Coming into this course, again, what our goal is going to be is to build web-based applications. We'll get in and talk a little bit about what web-based applications are when we get into the course a little bit, but primarily, anything that you're working on the web is a web-based application today. My definition of one would be that it's an internet-based application. It works on your browser. It has a database behind it. It has logic behind it. It's more than just a website. It's more than a pretty HTML file and cascading style sheets. It's beyond that. It's really the back end of all that. And that's what I look at web-based applications as. All right? So to be able to do this course effectively, the goal would be that you should know databases pretty well, SQL pretty well. Matter of fact, we're going to assume that you do, all right? You should be able to now read and decipher a database schematic if it's given to you and know how the tables work with each other and are joined to each other. You should be able to write simple to complex joins, okay? And you also should be able to write aggregates at this point in time. This course is going to require you to do so. Now, I know you're probably not an expert at all that stuff yet, or at least but you've been practicing over the courses prior to this course. But, so I'll take it into consideration as we move forward, but you should have a good basic understanding of this with a good knowledge, be able to figure out these types of joins and so on as we move forward. All right? If not, you may want to come talk to me or talk to your instructor that this course would be good for you at this point. You all should be very competent in programming. When I say very competent, you should be competent in the sense that you got through programming 1 and programming 2, and hopefully maybe a little bit of Python already based upon where you are in your curriculum. But you should have a decent foundation of programming. The assumption would be is we can go very quickly now teaching you a new language, all right? We're going to teach you PHP as we kind of get into as our logical language we're going to be using for this course, among other web programming tools, but our logical language is going to be PHP in this course. We're going to go through it rather quickly because I assume you already know how to deal with variables and you know what variables are and you know the structures of programming and so on. So all we're going to do is show you how to do it in a new language, and you should be able to pick it up quite quickly, all right? I will reference quite a bit VB and possibly Python a little bit throughout the course. But for the most part, you should be able to start to pick these things up rather quickly now that you have a couple of programming languages behind you. All right? But if you feel like your programming ability is not very good and you just kind of squeak by to get here, once again, you may want to talk to your instructor because we're going to go rather quickly here. We're not teaching you how to program again. We're teaching you how to program using a different language. Does that make difference? Makes sense, I should say? All right. What are we going to try to accomplish in this course? Well, the first part of the course is going to be really talking about the front end of any web-based application, and that will be HTML. So we're going to learn HTML5 in this course. We'll talk about cascading style sheets a little bit, and as we progress throughout the course, just about every week, we'll talk about some other current tools that are being used in the industry. jQuery, Angular, responsive, and so on. You'll see some of these things, and probably if you're still listening to this video 3 years after I made it, there'll probably be new things out on the market that we'll be talking about. We'll try to stay current with those, but we'll basically use our foundations of HTML, whatever version we're dealing with. Right now, we're dealing with 5, and that's been around for a while. It's a great where HTML has come from, and we'll talk about that as we get into the course, and to where it is now is quite amazing on what we can actually do. So we'll spend the first several weeks doing that, kind of learning about HTML and having you practice with it. Hopefully you'll be fast, quick, and maybe even a little bit boring for you as you get through it. If it's not, that's fine too, because it's something brand new you may be learning for the first time. Once we're through with that in the first 3 or 4 weeks or whatever it is, we're going to get into PHP. And again, that's our back end language we're going to be using, okay? And we'll start learning PHP in regards to how it works on the internet. It's different how programming languages work on the internet versus what a Windows type of program would be, okay? And so we got to learn about that. How does it differ? Because everything runs on a web server, which we'll talk about, versus running on your computer. And so we as programmers got to be have the knowledge of how to deal with that. And you'll learn that as you get into this course and how PHP works. Let's see. So we'll also get into databases. Once we get some of the logic down, so we'll spend a few weeks learning about how to declare variables, how to pass data, how to write conditional statements, iterative statements, and so on, how to take a form, HTML form, and process it. We'll get into that a little bit right off the bat when we get into PHP. You'll notice this will actually go quite quickly, and I think you'll find it not too awfully difficult. Then we'll get into databases, okay? I mean, obviously, everything we deal with in a web-based application deals with a database. And then we'll be able to take information off an HTML form and start storing that into a database, going and getting that information and be able to display it onto your browser, and so on and so on and so on, all right? And so we'll get into MySQL. That'll probably be relatively new for everybody, but you'll be very surprised how similar it is to SQL Server. Matter of fact, it's actually more simplistic probably than SQL Server. Just a little different, but everything in regards to databases, primary keys, foreign keys, and all those different types of pieces, those are all the same as SQL Server. When it comes to the SQL itself, the queries, they're all the same. So nothing has really changed based upon what you should have already have learned. So that's the good news. Okay? What we'll do is we'll methodically build an application. Okay, we'll spend a few weeks getting started with HTML, getting to the point of building forms. Okay, we'll get to that point, and then you'll start building the forms for an application. Then we'll get into PHP to be able to process those data off those forms, storing that data, and retrieving that data. Once we hit a certain point, it's almost like you got it. This stuff isn't all that hard. And once you get to a point of being able to do the things I just talked about, create, retrieve, update, and delete type of things, the whole CRUD type mentality or CRUD type of technology, you basically got it. And then I'm going to let you go because what we want to do in these tracks is allow you to start building your portfolios you can take to your interviews and show potential employers. We will spend quite a few weeks in this course as we continue to learn things, though, I will say, but we'll spend a lot of time in here allowing you to build a really nice web-based application. And once you're done with all that, you will have a web-based application that has many website pages to it, does a lot of database, does a lot of SQL calls, does a lot of cool things, and actually deals with some of the current technologies that are out there, and something that you can keep and hold on to and take to your potential employers, either as a co-op employer or as a permanent placement type of employer. That's what they're asking for, and that's what we want to give you. Make sense? So we'll get to about week 10 of building. Then all of a sudden I will provide you with this final portfolio project. You'll have quite a few weeks to work on it, but as I said, we'll also keep learning new things along the way, more things to pretty it up and to kind of dealing with current technologies, if you will. You'll see what I mean when we get there. All right. How to be successful? Well, for the most part, this isn't anything about this course. It's really about all courses. But when we get into this, based upon how you're taking this course, live or online, make sure you take some notes, jot down some things, and so on. Use the internet for more understanding. We're going to push you a little bit in these tracks. We're not going to handhold you like you may have been done before. It's time for you to go learn how to learn a little bit. So I'm going to push you in a couple avid areas, and you'll see throughout the course. You might get a little frustrated with that. I don't want you to. I want you to take it as a challenge. I want you to go see what you can find out. You should have the basic knowledge now of knowing what to ask for, okay? If I see you're getting stuck, trust me, I'll help. But again, one of the criteria of our particular program is one that we want you to learn how to learn. And we want you to be able to go find this stuff on the internet and some examples. It's all out there. And once you start doing that, there's nothing you can't learn as technology changes and as new language pops up and new tools pop up. Make sense? So I'm going to hold your hand a little bit as we get going, then I'm going to kind of let you go and kind of challenge you, and you'll see it out there. You'll probably get a little frustrated along the way, but try to remember this video in which I'm saying I'm doing that on purpose, okay? But if you really need help and you really get stuck and you're falling behind, please come talk to me or send me an email letting me know that you need a little bit of help and push, and I'll help you there. But I'm going to push you a little bit. That's what the goal of these tracks are. Anyway, try to keep up. Don't fall behind. Once you start falling behind, you know this by now, it's pretty hard to catch up. All right? Then know that you're not an expert immediately. Allow yourself time to learn. Okay? I'll give you the time to learn. There's plenty of time to learn in here. We're going to learn a little bit differently. Like I said, I might push you a little bit, but give you enough time to be pushed, and you give yourself enough time to go do some research and find out things and be able to try things. Programming, especially this type of stuff, is a lot of trial and error, and you'll see how it works, especially this web-based programming. More trial and error than probably what you're used to. All right? Of course, ask questions. Send me emails. Come see me. Come see me in my office. Come see me after class. However it is, based upon how you're taking the course, feel free to ask me questions all the time, and then seek help, any way you need to. Okay? Have fun learning this. This is another challenge, but have some fun doing so. What do you need to complete this course? Not much. We're going to provide you your ITD server account, and we'll provide you MySQL, basically. It's so to store all and execute all your work. That's really all you need to really, in a sense, save all your work. Other than that, your editor you'll be using for PHP is Notepad++. There's other editors out there. Feel free to go out and search around. Some of them cost money. There's some free ones. Notepad++, and if you go to Notepad and tell it you're writing PHP, we'll help you write PHP pretty well. It's not the best editor out there, but it's also not the worst. If you want to search around and find some other ones, feel free to do so. For me, I don't care how you write your PHP. When you send it to me, I won't know what editor you use. And so with that said, feel free to use anything. But Notepad++ is the basics, at least, of what you would need. If you're going to save your work, obviously save it on the USB drive or cloud storage. As we speak today, really, I would put just about everything on cloud storage for the mere fact it's safe, it's backed up, and it's secure. Okay? And going from there. But once again, we're using our ITD server, so a lot of cases you'll be saving it there. Everything must be put on the ITD server for this class. You will not be emailing me. You will not be submitting things to Blackboard. All assignments will go to the ITD server. That's where you'll be. I'll show you how to do that with FileZilla and so on when we get to that point. And so that's where everything needs to be. And that's where your MySQL will be there also. Okay? All right, cool. All right. How to seek help? Well, like we talked about this before, you can ask. First, ask your instructor for help when in the classroom. If you're not taking this online, email your instructor. Your instructor should get back to you in less than 2 business days, not including weekends and holidays. What I mean by that is if you email your instructor late Friday or Saturday or Sunday, do not expect an answer. Instructors have lives too, and but you can probably expect one by Monday. I'm not saying you won't get an answer. I'm saying don't expect an answer. And so, in some cases, based upon what your due dates are, you need to plan your time accordingly to get into some of your assignments prior to maybe the weekend, because you know it's possible your instructor will not be there for you to help you along. Does that make sense? So, plan your time accordingly. Basically, the content will be there for each week, and you should be able to see what you need to do, what you need to listen to, what you need to read, what you need to research, and what you need to do in regards to assignments, and then plan your week ahead of time and not try to do everything over the weekend, because if you get stuck, your instructor may not be there to respond to you. All right? So just to let you know that. Okay? Cool. If you need help, you can set up an appointment with your full-time professors at a college. All you need to do is call the CIT division and ask for a set-up appointment for one of the computer programming professors. In some cases, even if it's not the instructor you're taking for this class, feel free to talk to some of the full-time professors that are at the college for you. Prior to asking for tutor, I make sure you talk to your instructor first. Just don't dive off to a tutor. I don't think you should need a tutor at this point in time. But if you do, talk to your instructor so we can figure out why and what's going on. And possibly by answering a few questions, your instructor might be able to help you and eliminate the need for a tutor. Okay? All right, how do we get started? We'll go to the course to read and understand the syllabus. It's out there under content on the course. You can see the content for your instructor. I'm sorry, the contact info for your instructor should be there. As you look at the syllabus, you'll see the outcomes and the schedule for the course, the grading criteria, and the rules. Make sure you understand all that as you kind of get into it, okay? Read the syllabus. That's our contract. Though the instructor has the right to change that syllabus throughout the course, any changes should not really hurt you. As a matter of fact, they probably will help you along the line. But with that said, it's still a contract, and that's basically how we instructors are adhering to the course and how we grade you unless there's any changes. And if there's changes, we'll make sure we notify you ahead of time and make sure it's overly fair in doing so. All right? So again, you'll be expected to understand this, and like I said, it's our contract between your instructor and yourself. If you have any questions or concerns about the syllabus, please ask your instructor now. Don't wait. Don't sit back and say, I don't know if I understand this. Maybe I'll talk to that person sooner or later. Talk to them now, all right, him or her now. But based on the mode that you're taking this course, if you're taking it live, basically follow the instructions that your instructor has for you in class. If you're taking it online, go to week 1 under content and then follow the instructions. Every week, probably on Monday, for the most part, I don't want to say every instructor will be a little bit different, but for the most part on Monday, a new week should pop up. The instructions will be there. What the outcomes are for that particular week, make sure you read those, make sure you note those, because what you want to do is you want to assess yourself at the end of each week and ensure that you met those outcomes. If you have, you're doing great. You're doing really well, and you're on your way. Okay? I think I've said everything. Hopefully this helps a little bit. If you have any more questions, once again, please ask your instructor before you get started with everything. And with that, I wish you once again a big welcome and much luck. And also, like I said, let's have some fun learning this. I'm hoping that if you got this far in the curriculum that you're enjoying becoming a software developer and you like figuring things out and you like dealing with the technologies that can actually solve problems for people. And that's what we do. And that's what we get paid to do. And in most cases, get paid pretty well to do. All right? Once again, welcome.